Hello. Today I want to discuss the phenomena I was intrigued by when playing with a live camera. As you can see, I pointed my live camera at my monitor, and the effect is stunning. I've created a feedback loop that stabilizes all the infinite frames in a nice, neat center of continual focus. Could this be anything like our own internal continual focus? Our own self-referencing experience? In this video, I'd like to share my thoughts with you on the discrete and quantized behavior of the pixels in this focus and their emergent properties, which I think may resemble the process by which our own focus is processed. See now, when I zoom in on this focus, an emergent form appears, likely from the fractal nature of the infinite frames, where all the discrete pixels combine their output into the cascading center. It becomes a whole white light. Emanating from this center appears bands of what I guess is the cascade geometry trapping pixel outputs in a gradient. This gradient has the dimensions of relative fractal depth attenuated in real time and the resultant proximity scatter that conforms and diverts the bands we see into the coordinating color saturations, something like a kaleidoscope or a prism. Because this fractal is virtual, I can only zoom up to an objective threshold, namely my monitor, which at close enough range either loses its focus on the center and obliviates, or redefines its focus on the pixels themselves, creating a gridding effect. It is here we can see both the discrete and quantized pixels. And now I'll freeform. Further condenses color saturations because of the relative positioning of the camera to focus. We can see when that camera's moved around, it kind of distorts the whole fractal geometry, and it makes all these different vectors where those condensations, they're thrown in these vectors. See all those colors? I'll give you a picture right afterwards. It has a real clear view of how everything just sort of disperses given the position of the camera. Okay, I meant to say trailing when you saw it obliviating in that last clip. You can see these colors trailing, and they are going in different vectors because the kaleidoscope, the fractal, has been reshuffled, reorganized, because the camera and its position to the focus has been changed. So it takes time for this fractal, this infinite fractal, to reorganize, because it's not an instant reorganization. And because of this delay, we get to see these condensations of these bands, these growths, these large areas, which always existed in the white light, but needed that delay, and they needed that sort of step from outside of the center to see it, to see the different aspects. So we're just going with the flow here. A couple notes I have is that blue higher energy. There's always just that blue halo, and I wonder if it's having to do with blue being a higher state, higher energy. Somehow it is able to escape or present itself quicker, more readily than any of the other colors. I don't know. That's kind of weird. And also, for Elijah, something I was just thinking about, I'll give you a peek into my mind real quick. Who knows if it's true, but you only have free will when you accept that you are one with God. And you can kind of see where I'm going with that, because in this focus that I present, there's this whole, well, we'll see where you take it. That's a whole night of conversation there, but maybe you get an inkling. I want to get to the fun stuff here, whereby through advancing and retracting, as well as repositioning, changing the pitch and yaw or whatever, of the camera at the monitor, I can influence the fractal delay and command colors to oversaturate regions and then eventually dominate the focus. I was able to do this with color green, as you'll see. That was the easiest one to do. And I was able to get red. I'll include that next. But it was really tough to get to. And I think there was possibly like a yellowish color, but it didn't stay too long. So, yeah, neat stuff. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna wrap up the video. It's like, what, 10 minutes already? I doubt anybody's gonna go through all this. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting. It's some pretty cool stuff. I'd love for people to see it in person. Shout out to Vern for the endoscope to, be able to look at the monitor and everything or whatever. Yeah, really cool, really dynamic system. Makes me think, hey, is that the way our colors, our sense of color works? Is it a facet of some? I mean, no, we know it is. We know that white light becomes all the other lights, but I mean, in terms of you know, the brain processing that information, is there maybe a specific orientation of our own sort of camera, like our own within the neurons? Does it reposition itself to exploit different parts of that geometry? That's my closing idea. Let me know what you think, if this even fits in an email.